Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bull Central. So we're past the holidays now, and I had some gift cards and stuff that people gave me, so I decided to hit some of the video game holiday sales and pick up some of the stuff that I kind of missed throughout the year, because there was a lot of games this year. It was a really full year. Like, people are calling it one of the best game years ever. I kind of agree with that. I played some really excellent stuff this year, but some of the stuff slips through because who has the money? Who has the time to play everything, right? So one of those games for me was Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I'm not really a huge fighting game fan. I like them. I play them. And you know, me and my wife get to have fun with fighting games every once in a while. Although there's always like a competitive edge that we don't quite enjoy, because she beats my ass and I get her, and then I beat her ass. Anyways, shouldn't say ass. Sorry about that. Anyways, so I decided to check out Mortal Kombat 1. I've played Mortal Kombat. Let's see, how many have I played in a row now? I played 11. I played 10. X. And I played, the two Injustice games. I love those because I'm a big DC Comics fan too. I kind of wish I had a new Injustice game to play instead of yet another Mortal Kombat. But Mortal Kombat 1 is kind of supposed to be an iteration. It's supposed to be a reboot of sorts, because at the end of the last game, we kind of rewrote the timeline so that we could do a reboot of sorts. And it doesn't really, the campaign of the game doesn't really let down on that side. You do get a new version of the story and of these characters tweaked. It's like, it's like when a comic book decides to reboot. Is it ever really that different? My only thing is that I'm starting to feel disappointed by these Mortal Kombat games, especially this newest one. And I don't know really how to quantify that. The game has some cool ideas. It's a little bit stripped down. They took out some of the stuff from the newer games that have been kind of fun. I'm not seeing much environmental damage that I can take advantage of. I'm not really seeing fatalities. The blood and gore seems toned down to me. All of that seems very strange, very un-Mortal Kombat-like at this point. And there's also kind of a dearth, a scarcity, a paucity of... I'm a writer, sorry. Of good characters to play with. There's a lot of the classic ones, and they're fine. Sub-Zero's fine, Raiden is fine, but some of the recast versions of these older characters and some of the newer characters, like for instance, they highlight the royal family of women fighters, right? This is kind of this part right here kind of reflects that part of the story, the campaign. Again, I'm a campaign guy, more so than just like a versus guy or an online guy. I like the stories in these Mortal Kombat games. That's the point. And believe me, I'm not saying that these characters suck because they're female. Please don't take it that way. But they're just not designed all that interestingly from like a mechanical point of view. I have nothing with their story or the way they look or the way that they were put together as like a concept for a character that you could play, but there's something kind of lackadaisical or boring about the way that they fight. And that kind of stretches through the whole thing. I feel like, and forgive me for saying this, NetherRealm Studios, I feel like Mortal Kombat has become the Madden or the Call of Duty of the fighting game world. It's the thing that everybody jumps on board and plays because it's super popular, but that really does not take that many risks anymore. That really just iterates. That really just automatically says, last one did good, this one do just as good if we change a few things, but not that much. Because obviously if we change too many things, people might disconnect, we might make mistakes. At least as far as the fan base goes, as the players go. And we're a finicky bunch, aren't we? So that can hardly be blamed. But it stunts creativity. And let me tell you something. I don't think there's room for that in today's modern gaming landscape, because there are so many properties. There are so many games. There are so many people. There's so many developers, publishers who are really trying to do different things. Just look at the indie landscape, for God's sakes. How many cool things come out of the indie landscape that would just never exist if it weren't for the fact that in today's modern gaming landscape, they have a voice too. They have a chance to make some sales and to impress the hell out of gamers like you and me. So when NetherRealm Studios, a big daddy of the game studios, that is a good studio, don't get me wrong, and don't mistake the fact that I don't think this Mortal Kombat 1 is not a decent product, because I do. But they're not taking any risks anymore. They're really not. And furthermore, they're selling us the idea that they are when they do the advertising and they do the run-up to the release. Like, for instance, the big bugaboo I have with this game is the cameo system. The cameo system stipulates that another NPC player can come in and fight with you or fight for you for a couple seconds, and that you can actually manipulate them in a new way that adds to your moveset. But in reality, it's a button press where the person comes in, hits once, leaves. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I use it in the game. I found it useful every once in a while. But how it was sold to me was that it was a game changer. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the hype. But I was interested to see how it would affect gameplay. The answer is not much. Now, that's not like a sin, okay? That's not like a consumer ripoff thing, not as far as I'm concerned. All it demonstrates to me is a lack of creative drive. They're not interested in taking creative risks. And who can blame them from a financial point of view, because these games do sell how they are and people do like them how they are. But again, people buy Madden in droves. People buy Call of Duty in droves. And again, not saying that those are absolutely terrible games, but they don't take risks anymore, right? We can agree on that. That they're more satisfied with trying to be gentles with the status quo in order to maximize profits for their corporation. Also not unfair to say. That's kind of my thesis about Mortal Kombat 1. It's become the iterative thing. It's become the sequel monster. And, you know, this is NetherRealm Studios. They've reinvented Mortal Kombat multiple times. And I will say also that when they introduced Injustice, that was kind of a big game changer for them. And this attitude that we must protect our profits, it's not going to fly in this day and age when there's so many other creative options. There are studios that have big budget games. They will wait 10 years between versions just to make sure that it is super different and super creative and not what you were expecting. They do that. So I don't think that I'm big of... well, I guess that's all it is. I'm not that big of a fan of Mortal Kombat 1 because of everything I just mentioned. I don't really have a score for it because it came out in September, so what's the point? But I would say it's a good game, but that it is just a good game. It's not a game changer. And I think at this point, maybe we ought to start going back to game-changing mode. Yeah. Okay, do me a favor, everybody. This is my newest musical release, Audiophile One. It is remastered, resequenced, remade version of my first album that I put out, I guess about 4 years ago now. I always wanted it to sound a little bit better. I always wanted it to flow a little bit better, so that's what I've done here. You can check this out. Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, even here on YouTube. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I am spent, or spient. Is that the French? No, that sounds more German. A spinta. That's the Italian. Sorry if I just offended people.